Donald Trump was having a meltdown at 12:30 a.m. in the morning as video is surfacing showing Donald Trump was being mercilessly booed at that weird IndyCar event in Washington, D.C. Other video is surfacing as well as the Trump regime ordering members of the press to shut down their cameras so that they would not film Melania yelling at Donald Trump, so they would not film Donald Trump getting booed, so they would not film the bizarre interactions between Donald Trump, Melania, Natalie Harp, so they would not film Donald Trump clearly, cognitively, and physically deteriorating and rotting like we've never seen before at this event, worse than ever. Let me show you what went down. First, let me show you where you have Secret Service and you have Trump security yelling at the camera operators and the press, shut off your camera, do not film the president, because in the luxury box that was being filmed, you had Melania and Natalie Harp and Melania yelling at Donald Trump, and Trump was addled. He didn't even know where to look, and people were telling him, the race cars are over there, Donald. Let me show you what went down, then I'm going to show you Donald Trump getting mercilessly booed. But first, you'll see security yelling at the camera operator. Let's play this clip first.
I need the cameras off the president right now. Cameras off the president right now. Turn the cameras off the president. What you're doing is they hold you down. So just hang tight, just turn the cameras.
Yeah, we're the pool with President Trump for the entire network. Fox, CNN,
I understand that. We've asked you to turn the cameras off of the presidential suite, and we'll be with you in a moment.
And then earlier, you can hear the crowd loudly booing Donald Trump. I'll show you some video in a little bit of Donald Trump being called a traitor by this crowd as well. Here, let's play this clip. And then you'll hear Donald Trump getting loudly booed again at the finish line. Here, I'll show you this right here. Listen to the people booing. Let's play it. And got to give a hat tip to Donk Media for aggregating a lot of these great clips. You'll hear somebody screaming traitor in this clip right here. Let's play it. And Donald Trump, again, cognitively and physically addled throughout this event. When he was holding the green flag to start the race, he didn't know where the handle was and where the green flag was. And Melania and then the other staffers had to show him, look, you got to hold the handle. You don't hold the green part, Donald. And he was so utterly confused. Before that, you can see Donald Trump looking visibly confused and struggling with the button in his jacket right here. Play this. I want to play this clip. I want to remind you, though. I'm going to show you what he was doing at 12:30 a.m. as all of this stuff surfaced, because it gets really deranged. But play this clip first right here.
Wait a minute. You worked your boat with him. All right, our drivers and owners.
And then you'll see over here lots of the people near Donald Trump in this luxury box. They're telling him he's looking the wrong way. They're trying to point to him. The race cars are here, Donald. We don't know what you're looking at. Watch the race cars. Here, play this clip. Then Donald Trump in conversation points to the back of his hand, which is visibly discolored. Again, he's rotting away before our eyes. Here, play this clip. Now, as these videos are surfacing at 12:30 a.m., Donald Trump posted the following. I mean, this is as deranged as you get. This is 12:30 a.m. This is a real post from Donald Trump. The midterm meltdown. Former U.S. presidential advisor warns what's coming in the next few months will blindside most Americans and hand you a once-in-a-decade windfall. And it has these quotes from a guy named Jim Rickards about what's about to happen. This is a real post from Donald Trump, and you're not going to see it on corporate news. No one's going to talk about this, but that's why you come to the MeidasTouch Network. Trump posted this at 12:30 a.m. My research indicates we're entering the most chaotic and volatile and dangerous period in American history, Trump reposts. I'm talking about the kind of turmoil that most of us have never experienced, with massive street violence in major cities, criminal prosecutions of some of the most powerful people in Washington, a constitutional crisis that echoes the darkest chapter in American history, and a hidden plan already in motion that could reshape Washington, D.C. for the next decade. Again, Trump posted this at 12:30. The president of the freaking United States posted this. But here's what he's recommending that people who follow him do. Again, this is a repost from Donald Trump. The first move I'm recommending involves a clutch of companies that are about to see a massive surge in government spending. When a government faces threats on multiple fronts, foreign wars, domestic unrest, border security, it does the same thing every time, regardless of who's in the White House, no matter which party controls Congress, it spends. As of right now, the spending is unlike anything we've seen in a decade. The Pentagon just submitted a $1.5 trillion defense budget for 2026, the highest since World War II. And hundreds of millions of dollars are flowing into National Guard deployments, surveillance technology, and security infrastructure across major American cities. And again, this is coming from Donald Trump's post. Trump posted the midterm meltdown. This is a message he wants to get out to people. And then he goes on to say, there's technology companies that builds AI-powered surveillance and tracking systems used by the CIA, the Pentagon, and virtually every major federal law enforcement agency. This is your chance to get all that money back and then some. The federal contracts doubled from $1.2 billion to $2.4 billion. The company's stock was up over 340% in 2024 alone. Then it leapt 135% higher in 2025. And then Donald Trump tells people, join now. We can give you the special reports of the midterm meltdown portfolio, the $10,000 gold playbook. If you join now and become a member of whatever the hell this thing is that Donald Trump posted. That's what Trump posted at 12:30 a.m. You want to see what they're posting in Iran right now? The Iranian Broadcasting Authority published classified information and revealed the exact locations they claim where Baron Trump lives. And they put out it. I'm not going to play the video. I'm just going to show you what they published generally. And it says where to kill Baron Trump. And they give locations where he's at. And so I just want you to think about it. You've got Melania, who's in this luxury box with Donald, with Natalie Harp behind him, who Trump hid in a catering container in July when they left the NATO summit because Netanyahu told Trump that Iran would kill him in the old Air Force One. So him and Natalie hid in the catering container. And you've got Melania right now being all odd and bizarre as can be in the luxury box, while you have Iran saying this is how you kill Barron. By the way, we heard from former top White House staffer during his first term, who was also his deputy press secretary of his campaign the first time around, Sarah Matthews. And here's what Sarah Matthews told the MeidasTouch Network Sunday show, Jack Cucciarella. This is what she told him about Melania. Play this clip.
Okay, so before I joined the Trump White House during the first administration, I worked on Trump's 2020 re-election campaign for a year as deputy press secretary. And then they eventually moved me over for like the last 7 months or so of the first administration. But during that time when I was working for the campaign, we had a bunch of campaign surrogates who we would, do events with, help write op-eds for, all that kind of stuff. And Natalie Harp was one of our campaign surrogates because she had credited Right to Try, a piece of legislation that Trump had signed into law, as saving her life because she had survived bone cancer. And so that was how I knew her, was as a campaign surrogate. And I remember that she would DM me on Twitter all the time. And
more from her conversation with Jack about Melania. By the way, don't you all love the Sunday show? How good is that? Play this clip.
But I really I think most of our correspondence was over Twitter DMs, but I actually don't have access to the DMs anymore because she blocked me after I don't know if it was after I resigned on January 6th or if it was after I testified before the January 6th committee, but I have since been blocked. And so I do not have access to the DMs, but from what I remember, that it was just her DMing me, and it just came across that she was very eager. And I think that now it's just really interesting to see her trajectory of she was able to break through and become part of Trump world, and obviously rose the ranks fairly quickly to now be one of the president's closest aides.
Now, I'll do a whole other video on the changing global world order right now, but one of the things that an Iranian parliament member or the head of Iran parliament's official news agency told Mehdi Rahimi, the head of Iranian parliament's official news agency, Kane Melet, told Al Mayadeen that Iran received an invitation from Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, and Turkey to join the Mecca Joint Defense Agreement. Remember, I've been talking about the Mecca Pact, the NATO Article 5-like agreement between Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey. We believed Egypt might join that as well. According to this Iranian official, Iran's been invited. By the way, we haven't heard Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, or Turkey deny it at this point, so we'll see. Wouldn't that be a complete shaping of the current world order? You have, former war, you have a war hero, former top general, McCaffrey says, in my judgment, the U.S. armed forces have probably permanently lost access to 15 Persian Gulf bases. Iran now is poised to control access to the Gulf states. U.S. will have to negotiate new access in Western Saudi Arabia, Israel, and Southern Europe. The Atlantic published this piece called Iran Unleashed by Robert Kagan, who argues Iran has, with American help, completely reconfigured the power structure of the Middle East and the Persian Gulf. The world will now discover what an Iran unleashed looks like. And it talks about Iran is now a regional and global power as the United States lost the catastrophic and unlawful war in Iran. And now you have Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent publishing in the Financial Times that he will inflict economic D-Day against Iran. It's this whole weird op-ed where he cites the 17th century French philosopher and mathematician Blaise Pascal, and he talks about how it's a bizarre quote of like the Pascal wager, and says, just like the Pascal wager tells you we need to believe in God, other countries should listen to what the United States says and break off all trading relationships with Iran, or else you will be isolated. Really, because China has made it very clear through Wang Yi, their foreign minister, they're going to keep on trading with Iran, their one of their trading partners, and the BRICS nations will continue to trade with Iran. Nobody takes this Treasury Secretary Bessent clown seriously. I'm going to do a whole other video on Bessent's D-Day threat against Iran, just showing how desperate he is. I mean, just think about the flailing Trump regime imposing 50% tariffs on Canada, and Canada refusing to submit, refusing to surrender. All of the Canadian premiers united against the Trump regime, united with Prime Minister Carney. By the way, in response to Treasury Secretary Besson threatening D-Day against Iran. Iran's new national security chief, Moshe Reza, says that if Washington expands its economic war, Iran is prepared to target U.S. oil companies and other American economic interests in the region. He says Tehran would first negotiate with neighboring Arab states and give them time to change course, but warned that if they ultimately participate with the United States against Iran, not a single drop of oil will leave the Persian Gulf, including through routes that bypass Hormuz. This amounts to a doubling down on the dominant strategic logic in Tehran: oil exports for everyone or oil exports for no one. And Moshe Reza had, and we're hearing this from Iranian military leadership as well, they're saying if indeed the Trump regime continues to impose economic D-Day or the blockade, Iran is going to strike American interests in the region. They're not just going to wait and do nothing. And so they're waiting to see the move by the U.S. And Iran's not afraid to go on the offense. They realize that they're already on the defense and that they were invaded by Trump and Netanyahu. But Iran knows the United States is out of weapons, out of interceptors, out of offensive weapons like ATACMS, running low on Tomahawks, morale at all-time low aboard the aircraft carriers, Trump holding weird IndyCar events where he's getting booed, Natalie Hart, Melania, all the freaking weirdness happening there. Gas prices in the U.S. all-time high, $4.11 nationwide average of gas, $5.57 nationwide diesel, probably more where you live, but that's going to keep on rising. Price of crude approaching $100 a barrel, price of diesel approaching $200, crack spread 102, crack diesel spread $102 a barrel, record highs right there. Grocery prices, record highs, healthcare ripped away from the American people, groceries unaffordable, Donald Trump importing frozen mystery beef from mystery foreign countries to undercut American ranchers by 25%. And the ranchers here are like, what the hell? Trump trade war against Canada, 50% tariffs on Canada, which is a 50% tax on Americans. Canada provides massive amounts of, like 68% of the oil imports into the United States come from Canada. Most of the electricity in the United States, or a lot of electricity, comes from Canada. U.S. depends on Canada for a lot, but the United States has declared a trade war against Canada. At the worst, there's never a good time to do it, but doubling down on stupidity, Canada sees the U.S. weak, the world sees the U.S. as incredibly weak, and that's where we are right now. But you have a reality TV show, failed reality TV show regime. So you've got people like Sean Duffy, the transportation secretary, putting out videos like this yesterday. Play this clip.
Going to be awesome.
You know, and then you have here regime propaganda from Fox Sports. They go, President Donald Trump is the sports president. I'm not going to show you the video, but Fox was the one to broadcast this ridiculous IndyCar race event. And no, Donald Trump isn't the sports president. Donald Trump is the pedo-protecting president. He is the child sex trafficking ring cover-upper president in that he covers up the Epstein files. He is the felon president. He is the sexual predator president, found civilly liable for sexual assault. He is the bankrupter president. He's the loser president. He's the war criminal president, state regime media Fox. And he's the president getting booed at his own IndyCar event. So there you have it. Let me know what you all think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. Appreciate you. What? You see that thing he posted at 12:30 a.m.? Jesus. Thanks for watching.
Before you go, our book, WTF America, is available for pre-order now. It's the story of how we got here and how we fight our way back. To pre-order, scan the QR code or click the link in the description. Let's do this.